My name is Lily and I am a young mermaid. My mother told me to never swim beyond the safe waters near our home, but staying in the same area all the time was too boring for me. My older sister always swam wherever and whenever she liked, so I couldn't understand why my situation was any different. One day I carefully glanced around, left, right, up and down to make sure no one was watching. Let me explore beyond this place and see what's out there, I thought. I began swimming further and further until I realized I had gone so far that I couldn't figure out how to get back. I cried and called for help, shouting for my sister, my friends, and my mom, but no one responded. I even sang our favorite song, hoping someone would join in and find me, but the silence remained. Then, out of nowhere, I noticed a human crouched by the water, scooping it up. I quickly hid behind a large leaf, but a wave carried me off, and I ended up in the calabash she was using to collect water. From there, I slipped into her pot without her noticing. She lifted the pot onto her head and walked away, completely unaware that I was inside. Trembling with fear, I remained at the bottom of the water-filled pot. After a few moments, she set the pot down and began speaking in a language I didn't understand. Not long after, a little boy came over and started splashing his hands in the water inside the pot. His mother scolded him, yelling loudly. I had no idea what she said to him, but after her stern words, he ran off. A short while later, he returned, carrying a small bowl. He scooped water from the pot with the bowl, and before I knew it, I was in it. The moment he saw me in the bowl, his eyes widened and he flung the bowl in shock. I fell to the ground with a dull thud. Terrified, he began to run away but soon gathered his courage and crept back toward me. He picked me up carefully with both hands, staring at me as if I were the strangest thing he had ever seen. "Put me back in water, you silly boy!" I shouted angrily. He screamed again and threw me to the ground, but after a few seconds he came closer and picked me up again, holding me in his palms. You can talk?" he asked, his voice trembling with amazement. "Wow, you understand English?" I asked, just as surprised. "Of course I do," he replied. "But your mother was speaking a language I couldn't understand," I said. "That's our native tongue," he explained with a shrug. "It's what we speak at home. Well, can you please put me back in water now?" I pleaded politely. "If I put you back in the pot, my mom might find you and do something bad out of fear. Just wait here for a second," he said. He gently placed me on the ground and ran off. Moments later, he returned holding a glass bottle filled with water. He lifted me up and gently placed me inside it. "There you go," he said with a proud grin. "Thank you so much," I said, peering through the glass. "By the way, my name is Lily." "Hi, Lily. I'm Jason." "What are you doing here?" he asked curiously. "I got lost," I admitted. "My mother warned me not to swim too far from home, but I wanted to explore. I ended up here and somehow fell into your mother's pot. Please help me get back home. My sister is getting married in 2 days, and I need to be there." "Don't worry," he said. "I'll take you to the river. Once you're back in the water and sing your song, your people will hear and find you." "Well, it's not that simple," he continued, scratching his head. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused. "Children here aren't allowed near the river. The elders believe mermaids kidnap children, and those children are never seen again," he explained. "That's not true at all," I exclaimed. "We're harmless and we don't kidnap anyone. Please help me. I promise nothing bad will happen to you." Okay, I'll try," he said with a grin. "But I heard mermaids grant wishes. If I help you, what will you give me in return?" "I'll give you anything you want," I promised. "Really?" he asked, his eyes lighting up. "I wish for my mom, my siblings, and me to go to the white man's land. Can you make that happen?" "I promise," I said quickly, nodding. Jason, what are you holding?" his mother called out, entering the room with her hands on her hips. Just an empty water bottle," he stammered. "Throw it away or leave it somewhere and come help me in the kitchen," she instructed as she tied her dress more securely. Jason hurried into another room and placed me under a pillow. "This is where my siblings and I sleep," he explained. "That's my pillow. Please stay here until I finish helping my mom. I'll come back and help you get home." He left the room, but soon after, a small girl wandered in and lifted the pillow. She froze, staring at me with her mouth wide open. Then she suddenly screamed, "Martha! Martha!" "Who is Martha?" I wondered nervously, sitting still in the bottle. The little girl called out again, "Martha! Martha!" Jason came running in, quickly picked up the bottle and hid it behind him. An older girl entered the room, frowning. "What's going on, Linda? Why are you shouting my name?" she asked the younger girl, who pointed silently at Jason. "What are you hiding?" Martha asked, narrowing her eyes. "Nothing," Jason said, sneaking out of the room as fast as he could. As soon as he reached the front door, Jason bolted out. He was clearly hiding something behind his back. "What could Jason be hiding?" little Linda asked curiously. Martha raised an eyebrow. "Hiding? Like what?" "A mermaid," Linda blurted out. "I saw a mermaid in a bottle under Jason's pillow." "What?" Martha exclaimed, moving toward the bed and attempting to lift the pillow. "He's already taken it with him," Linda said. "But I swear I saw a mermaid." "It wasn't a mermaid," Martha said dismissively. "You probably saw something else." With that, she walked out of the room. Linda muttered to herself, "I knew no one would believe me, but I did see a mermaid." Later that evening, during dinner, Jason, Martha, and Linda kept exchanging glances. After everyone had gone to bed, Jason quietly took out the bottle and spoke softly to me. "Hey, don't worry. I promise you'll be okay. Tomorrow I'll take you to the river. Are you hungry? I saved a piece of bread for you." He opened the bottle and dropped a tiny piece of bread inside. "Who are Martha and that little girl?" I asked, nibbling the bread. "Martha is my big sister and Linda is my younger sister," Jason explained. Before he could say more, Martha stirred awake. "Who are you talking to?" she asked, sitting up. Jason scratched his head nervously. No one." Martha approached him and snatched the bottle. "What? You've trapped a mermaid in here?" she asked in disbelief. "No, I didn't. I'm trying to help her get back home," Jason protested. "Are you out of your mind?" Martha exclaimed. "No, I'm serious." Jason replied, "I found her in the pot of water Mom brought home from the river earlier. She needs to go back. Her sister's wedding is in 2 days. And how do you know all of this?" Martha demanded. "Lilly told me." "She talks," Jason said, pointing at the bottle. Martha stared at me, wide-eyed. "Hi, I'm Lilly," I greeted her. Martha screamed and threw the bottle into the air before hiding behind Jason. Luckily, Jason caught it before it hit the ground. "Don't be afraid," Jason reassured her. "Lilly is harmless." He continued, "Look, Martha, Mom can't know about this. I promised Lilly I'd help her get home, and in return, she's going to grant my wish." Martha peeked out from behind Jason. "Grant your wish? What kind of wish?" "To go to the white man's land," Jason replied with a big smile. Martha snatched the bottle again. "What about me? Can you grant my wish too?" I sighed. "Okay, I can grant 1 wish per person." "Great. I want pearl necklaces, fancy handbags, glass heels, earrings, and beautiful dresses," Martha declared excitedly. "Wait, I can only grant 1 wish. I'm just a small mermaid," I said, cutting her off. "Fine. I want glass heels," Martha decided. She turned to Jason and said, "I promise I won't tell Mom about this." With that settled, the siblings went to sleep, and Jason placed the bottle beside him. Early the next morning, Martha woke Jason up, and the two set off for the river. Along the way, they encountered an elderly woman. "And where do you two think you're going?" the woman asked sternly. "Don't you know children are forbidden on this path to the river?" Jason stammered. We go back home at once, the woman shouted. The siblings ran back as fast as they could, but Martha soon pulled Jason behind a tree. They waited until the old woman passed before sneaking back onto the path to the river. When they arrived, merman soldiers were already there, searching for me. Jason quickly opened the bottle and poured me into the river. I swam up to the soldiers and hugged them tightly. They were overjoyed to see me. However, their commander stepped forward, pointing his sword at Jason and Martha. "Where did you take her?" he demanded. "No, they didn't take me anywhere," I protested. "They helped me get back home," but the commander didn't listen. He pulled out a bottle filled with a strange liquid and poured it on Jason. Martha dodged the splash and stepped back in horror as Jason began to dissolve into the water. "No!" I screamed, watching helplessly. It was agonizing to see Martha run home, shouting, "You betrayed us," at the top of her lungs. The soldiers collected the melted substance in a small drum and rolled it away. "He's innocent." I cried through my tears, but no one listened. When I returned home, my family was thrilled to see me, but I couldn't hide my sadness. "Lilly, we were so worried. What happened to you? Why are you so upset?" my father asked. I took a deep breath. "Dad, I'm happy to be home, but the boy who saved me was captured by the soldiers. He didn't deserve this." "Tell us what happened, my dear," he said gently. I explained I wandered too far from home and got lost. A human woman was fetching water, and I accidentally ended up in her pot. This boy found me, kept me safe, and even fed me. He brought me back to the river so I could return home. "What if something terrible had happened to you?" my dad roared in fury. "This boy must face the consequences." "Please, nothing should happen to him," I pleaded desperately. I swam to the commander's quarters, where the drum containing Jason's essence was still in front of him, surrounded by other soldiers. The commander slowly opened the drum, and its contents spilled out. Within moments, Jason began to reform, returning to his human shape. "Jason!" I cried, rushing toward him. He lifted his head weakly and looked at me. "You betrayed me," he muttered. "Step back, Lilly," the commander ordered. From a distance, I saw my father and mother approaching swiftly. "Dad, Mom, please. Help this boy. Let him go back to his people," I begged. "He must be punished," my dad insisted, swimming closer. Panicked, I raced home. In a matter of minutes, I returned holding a bottle of poison. Making sure everyone's eyes were on me, I uncorked the bottle and pointed it at myself. "You have seconds to set this boy free, or I will drink this poison," I shouted. "Lilly, no." "Don't," my mom cried out. "Mom, stay back," I yelled. My father raised a hand to calm the tension. "Fine. Commander, release the boy," he commanded reluctantly. "No," I insisted. "Not just release him. I want him to be generously rewarded." My dad's expression softened as he asked, "What do you want for him?" "I want him adorned in gold and precious stones. He should be given 2 large chests filled with gold and jewels, and another chest full of gold necklaces, bracelets, earrings, pearl necklaces, and glass heels," I declared firmly. "Done," my dad said. He swam home, returning shortly with everything I'd requested. The treasures were handed to Jason, and my dad ordered the commander and a few soldiers to escort him safely to the riverbank where his people could find him. I volunteered to go along. Jason was dressed magnificently in gold and jewels, and we carried the chests with us. When we reached the riverbank, his people were already there, crying out in despair. As soon as they saw Jason emerge from the water, they froze in shock. "Is that you, Jason?" his exhausted mother asked. "It's me, Mom," Jason said softly. She ran to him and embraced him tightly, soon joined by Martha and Linda. "Look, Martha," Jason said, pointing at the 3rd chest. "Lilly made sure you got everything you wished for." "What? Really?" Martha exclaimed, jumping in excitement. I smiled at Jason and said, "I couldn't directly fulfill your dream of traveling to the white man's land, but your mother can sell these treasures. The fortune will help make your dream come true. Jason and his mother turned to me with tears in their eyes. Thank you, they said in unison. I waved at them before swimming away with my fellow mermaids, feeling proud that I had saved Jason and helped him achieve his dreams. Many years later, one day a mermaid swam to me in a hurry. Lilly, a human is by the river shouting your name. A human? I asked, surprised. I quickly followed her to the spot and was astonished to see a tall, handsome man waiting by the riverbank. Jason, I exclaimed. You're right. It's me, he said, smiling brightly. It's so good to see you again. You look incredible. I said, where have you been all these years? Jason chuckled. Well, Lilly, my mom sold the treasures you gave us and we made a fortune. She contacted my uncle in the city and he helped us travel abroad. I just returned to the village to help other young people find opportunities to travel for a better future. You completely changed my life. That's wonderful to hear, Jason, I said with a smile. Thank you for everything, he said. It was my pleasure, Jason. I'm just happy to see you doing well, I replied. The end. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more amazing stories. See you next time.